Have you ever thought of how you and your family got here? How would you feel if your family wasn't allowed in the United States to begin with? Today we will be talking about our family's immigration stories, the Italians and Chinese difficulties as immigrants, and Syrian refugee struggles today. Hi, my name is Natalie and this is my family's immigration story. On my grandfather's side of the family, the Svards, they immigrated to the United States from Sweden in the early 1870s. Some of the Svard family still lives on a farm in frozen Sweden today. On my grandmother's side, the Hermans, a man named William Oscar Herman, my great-great-grandfather, was sent to South America from Germany by his parents to run their family coffee plantation in the late 1800s. He stopped in New York on the way there, fell in love with my great-great-grandmother, Beatrice Caroline Myers, and refused to work at the plantation or go back home, so his family disowned him.
My name is Tyson. My family originated from Sicily, Italy. My great-grandmother Sarah was born there. She decided to leave Sicily and come to the U.S. because her mother kept on having children and Sarah couldn't take any more pressure. Now she has 2 children, many grand and great-grandchildren, and she lives in Boston, Texas.
My name is Braden. My family originated from Cork, Ireland. When they moved from Cork, Ireland, they came to Massachusetts and then went on to Montana and finally settled in California. They left Ireland because they were looking for a better life, and they decided to come to America because they thought they would earn more money and have a better opportunity at life. Another side of my family came from England. I do not know where they went to after that and when they did so. My grandma knows she still has relatives in England and Ireland, but has never met them face to face.
Hi, my name is Lauren. My family had originated from Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. My parents and grandparents and their parents were both born there. There happened to be a war going on in Vietnam when my parents were there. It wasn't safe there, so they had to immigrate, and my mother had a sponsor in the United States, and it was also safer there. They both had gone over to the U.S. on boats, so it was a long sail. My mother had her sponsor in Arkansas, and my father went to Oregon. My mother then moved to Oregon and met my father. Refugees today are very similar or want very similar things to happen compared to pilgrims. They both wanted a better place to live, gold, more land, money, and more opportunities. Pull factors for this group were America had what they wanted, good for farming, tobacco, fertile soil, to start a new life or better life, and religious freedom. Some challenges that they both faced were poor soil quality, lack of food, harsh winters, could not farm any land, and more. Some successes for them were tobacco, friendship plus allies, and more.
The Italians and Syrian refugees were/are both thought of in a negative way based on their religion or skin color. They were treated poorly by Americans due to this. The Southern Italians were beaten and mistreated because their skin color is darker than the Americans. The Syrians are treated differently because of where they live. People think that because there's a war where they come from, that means they're terrorists, but most of them really aren't. Both the Italians and Syrian refugees were pulled to the U.S. by the opportunity for a better life and were/are leaving due to safety reasons. The Italians were unable to find proper work, so they went to the U.S. seeking wealth and a life similar to how the Syrians feel now. Syrians are living in constant fear and can't live a happy or stable life, but the U.S. can provide that. The Italians were forced out because natural disasters and disease made their home unsafe, and the Syrians are being forced out by war that is killing them.
Chinese immigrants and Syrian refugees are both discriminated from the U.S. The Chinese have been discriminated for hundreds of years, mostly because of their race. The Syrian refugees have been discriminated for a long time, but that has changed quite a bit. Obama changed this and was letting more refugees into the United States until Trump got elected and previously changed this back to hardly letting any refugees into the U.S. because they are afraid of terrorists. There was a social and economic crisis in China, and there is one in the Islamic States now. In Syria, there is a big war happening between President Assad and the rebels. There was a huge population increase in China, which pushed them out of China because there were too many people.
There have been many different people immigrating to America. Some of the first people to migrate to America were the Pilgrims, but not many arrived in the first group to migrate to America. It has many more people to come to America. But will we, America, be able to handle the task of taking more immigrants in?
Newsella states in their article, Pro vs. Con, stopping Syrian refugees from coming to the U.S. The U.S. governors refusing to accept Syrian refugees are not just morally wrong. They are also helping Islamic State. ISIS has a goal of spreading their beliefs throughout the Middle East, and they are using violence and fear to do so. This violence scares the U.S. and made us believe that all citizens of the Middle East are part of ISIS, which is far from the truth. Islamic State's big plan is to get the U.S. to be afraid, causing them to call in Syrian refugees so then ISIS can get these refugees to join them and start a war.
Instead of Trump's idea of building a wall, we should spend the money on refugees to help them come into our country and be safe so they could have shelter instead of having a wall blocking all the refugees out. While doing this, we could be at risk for letting some terrorists into our country, but that's what the money is for. We could use some of this money to help build things and make it safer for us to let in more refugees and no terrorists. According to the article, Obama increases number of Syrian refugees for the U.S. resettlement to 10,000. By Gardner Harris, Obama let in 10,000 refugees in 2017. Now that Trump is in charge, he is lowering that highly. There are little to no refugees being let into our country today, and we should bring those numbers back up.
Overall, most of the U.S. is made up of immigrants from the past, and we don't know why our nation will not take any more refugees in. There are people who need our help, and the U.S. isn't letting that many people in. We need to start doing the right thing and take action against this problem.